Yo, what's up, Parademons? I'm the real Manos, and I have brought Deadpoolzilla from the channel Deadpoolzilla to discuss the Justice League film that just came out this weekend, and this is a kind of loose discussion review with spoilers. This is going to be kind of a spoiler cast. Say hello to Deadpoolzilla, everybody!
Wait, so we're not talking about Steven Universe? That's odd.
I know. Well, this is Steven Universe versus Darkseid, so this is going to be awesome. All right. Let's see. For those of you who aren't in the know, the DCEU films have been less than stellar, particularly with BVS. I'll just break it down right now. My opinions are essentially... I like Man of Steel, but I won't fight over it. I hate BVS. I didn't even bother with Suicide Squad, and I really did love Wonder Woman. So, how did I feel towards this one? Well, I rather enjoyed it. How about you, Deadpoolzilla?
I didn't hate it, which is a major gold standard right now. I mean, I walked in there with mediocre hopes, but I thought it was fine. It was serviceable. I didn't walk away hating it like BVS or Suicide Squad. And, I mean, it's not up there with Wonder Woman, but considering that, you know, we've had some, you know, this has been a rocky start from the get-go.
Yeah, yes. That is understated, yes.
Yeah, I would say that this is an improvement. Not a big one, but an improvement.
I would say so. I would easily call this the second best DCEU film.
And sadly, that's not a big compliment.
That's true. But hey, you know, you take what you can get, really. I find this to be an interesting course correction for the franchise because, I mean, I'm sure you remember early on they were going, "Hey, screw you, Marvel, and your stupid fun movies with jokes that are enjoyable to watch. We're dark and hardcore. Woo!" Oh, you know, they're like, you know, all bragging about it, and then BVS comes out and Suicide comes out, and like, yeah, check out our hilarious Justice League trailer with jokes. And this, I think, is kind of a course correction in the fact that you can actually see it in film where the people of the DCEU have really lost hope represented in Superman's death. And they're in a terrible place where everything just feels like it's falling apart. And Batman and the rest of the Justice League are preparing for some kind of event that's coming. And they really do need Superman. And they are in a way, kind of through mostly Batman and, you know, Wonder Woman as well, trying to find hope again. That comes in the form of literally bringing back Superman to life. You can definitely see in the color scheme of this film that Snyder uses different colors, which is kind of nice.
Although it is odd, it's hard to tell where Snyder began and where Whedon ended.
It does at times. There are some scenes that are very obvious, like, oh, this is totally Snyder. Oh, that's Whedon. And then you're right, there are some blurry parts. But what would you say was your first big takeaway, considering that?
Considering, you know, how Whedon got the job of finishing this film, it's kind of saddening.
It is.
Well, it's not kind of. It is very saddening. But I think he does well. But it's really hard to tell where he. And I'm glad they gave Snyder at least, you know, saying that this was all, you know, giving him the directorial credit because I'm pretty sure, yeah, he did the good chunk of it until, you know, what happened to him.
Yeah.
I would say that this movie does, like, I will admit, this is the same thing Thor Ragnarok had, was that I feel like the jokes sometimes really, like, ruin a scene.
Yeah.
And this happens a few times, but the movie on a whole, like, there are scenes that made me just happy because Justice League is on screen. The 5-year-old me in me was cheering the whole time.
Yes.
And Superman smiled.
I know. Henry Cavill must have loved this movie because he really does get to play Superman. He's a charming guy and an actor, and he just grimaces all through BVS because it's hardcore. But no, he actually gets to play Superman, plays to his strengths and plays to the character's strengths. And boy, you could kind of tell that he really enjoyed playing that.
Yeah, the other thing that I got a little giddy hearing the Danny Elfman Batman theme and the John Williams Superman theme.
Yeah, I know.
I know Elfman was the composer, which I was not aware of.
Yeah, he was. And, man, how do you go from doing the score for Batman '89, which is now iconic, and then have to score a new movie with Batman in it? How do you not use your own score for that? Especially over the years, how it's become so iconic and important. And it's also nice seeing him play around with the Superman score. I wish maybe it was a little more blatant. Because, you know what? The DCEU films, I think, really should try and embrace their history. And that's kind of what they've been doing in Rebirth. And these films tend to reflect on New 52, which was kind of trying to toss away and throw away history, where Rebirth is embracing history. And I'd really love to see that become more, if they're doing more films, to become more part of the Justice League films, which this was. Hey, let's do this. Let's do this Geekvolution style. What's a good thing, bad thing about the movie?
Good thing in this movie is that it knows what it's doing and is so unapologetic about it. The bad thing is it still kind of has those pitfalls of editing, because there are some blatant moments where I was like, wow, there's a whole scene missing right there, isn't it?
Yes. I'll go with good thing, bad thing. Good thing is there are scenes in this movie where we feel like actual characters are talking to each other, like people. Particularly the Batman-Wonder Woman argument in the middle of the film, which is one of my favorite scenes, actually. And I guess the bad thing is probably maybe the weakest villain, I'd have to say. At first, I was disappointed Darkseid wasn't going to be in this. And then now that I look at the film, it's like, oh, well, I'm glad they didn't use Darkseid like this.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I'll play devil's advocate in saying that the gods of Apocalypse are pretty one-dimensional on a whole, so that was kind of forgivable.
They can be portrayed that way, but they can be done in such an epically evil, scary way. Like Vader. When Vader is done really well, that's kind of the sort of sense of menace you should be getting from a character like Darkseid and some of his more important minions, like Steppenwolf, who, I'm sorry, like every time they mention him, I, keep worrying that we're going to be listening to Magic Carpet Ride or something like that.
That would have been like a great moment, like a great scene where Steppenwolf is like just attacking a city and he hears the song and he's like, "They dare use my name."
Oh man, if Iron Man was in this movie, how many times would he riff on that?
Yeah.
It's like Steppenwolf, and he goes, "Okay, Born to Be Wild. Let's keep it chill here."
Oh, now I'm missing that. I want Steppenwolf jokes in this movie. I want a cut of the Steppenwolf joke edition.
I know, totally missed out on that opportunity. I will say, for the humor, some people are obviously, I don't know if it's been called marvelizing a DCEU film, but they kind of are. It's a brightly colored film. It's a little more hopeful and fun and optimistic. There are more jokes. We have a lame villain, just like Marvel films. And I think for the best part, because I think the humor is mostly understated. I love the humor in the Marvel films, but occasionally, every once in a while, they'll really deflate a moment by doing a joke.
And that was the same problem here for me. And that was the problem with Thor Ragnarok. And this is also here where there's a really good scene, like with Aquaman talking about, hey, we're all probably going to die.
Yeah.
And then it's all just revealed he was sitting on the lasso of truth the whole time. And I was like, wow, way to ruin that moment.
I don't know. I don't think this had that many as a Marvel film can do. I love Thor Ragnarok, but I would have to admit, I would even admit that there's a couple of scenes where they overplay their hand with the humor. And I didn't really get that much of a sense of it here. I've seen the sitting on the Wonder Woman lasso and confessing joke actually a couple times before. The animated Wonder Woman film does that, actually. Same exact joke where Steve Trevor has... he's starting to confess stuff to Wonder Woman, and he realizes that the lasso is on his foot. It's like, oh, God, this stupid thing.
Speaking of what did you think of the cast on a whole? I mean, the three new ones. We had Cyborg, Flash. What did you think of Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman?
Well, Mara, let's see. Mara was pretty solid in her one scene. I assume we'll get to see more of her. My favorite of the new ones, new characters, was Aquaman. I really like Jason Momoa as Aquaman. He mirrors physically the Peter David Aquaman, which was always my favorite version of Aquaman. He's a little bit more dude bro, which isn't so much.
I kind of figured, like,
which isn't. Yeah. But he does it in... No, he does it in a kind of dude bro way, but not in an unlikable way. Almost like a Thor kind of personality here, mixed in with kind of Brave and the Bold Aquaman, except not as, you know...
outrageous.
Not as outrageous in love with himself. So it was kind of a nice mix. I really thought he sold it, and he kind of owned the role. Cyborg was decent. I do like hearing him say "booyah" at the end, and it was an understated booyah because it's serious. And my least favorite was probably Flash, actually. And it's not so much the writing, because actually a lot of his jokes for me landed, but just I don't know if it's just the acting choice or the actor chosen. I just wasn't really like a fan of him. The second I started thinking about Sheldon Cooper, the character was lost for me.
I'm the only one who thought that. Was like, oh, I don't want Sheldon Flash.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, Barry Allen and Sheldon Cooper, two characters I don't love put together? Well, sign me up! Yeah, so he's not my favorite, although oddly enough, a lot of his jokes are well written, and a lot of his scenes are well written. Like, I love that scene when they're about to go in, and he goes, whoa, this is much bigger than I'm used to doing. I'm used to pushing criminals and running. I really did like that hesitation moment, because that really became real for him.
I did like that scene where Bruce tells him, look, just save one person, you can run, and that just kind of gets, like, that's the motivation you can go, like, well, I can't stop now.
Yeah.
Like potato chips.
Also, I have to commend this movie for making me like the DCEU Batman. I mean, I loathe him in BVS. And to a lot of people listening who think it's Ben Affleck, no, it has nothing to do with Ben Affleck. He's awesome in the part. I just think he's horribly written and just really unlikable in BVS. And this movie has a lot of fun, kind of like, you know, sticking it to him. And it was rather enjoyable. This was kind of his comeuppance from his actions in BVS. What did you think?
Same. I would agree that, you know, there's some really great moments where everyone's like, seriously? You are, okay, tone it down, Edgelord.
I know! And he's aware of it, too. He does feel bad for the things he did. And he's trying to make amends for it. And it's like, okay, and there was a lot of times where he kind of pulls the stick out of his ass and he's a little bit more likable. It's like, okay, this is closer to the Batman I like.
With the new characters, just real backtracking, I think my favorite of the three is Cyborg, even though the CGI is just god-awful on him.
It is a little, yeah.
I thought he was very well done. Like, I love the scenes where he's just talking to his dad, and he's like, he has this moment of, Dad, I don't know what you did to me, but you should have left me, Dad. That's pretty much what he's saying. And I really, you know, I think his whole thing of being the young eyes going in was really cool. I like the interactions between him and Diana.
Yeah, I did. I also like the fact that his character was more serious. Where we got a lot of humor coming from Aquaman and Flash, and a little bit from Batman. You know, not everybody needs to be funny, and I'm glad he has a more kind of like grounded story arc we're going through.
Yeah. I will also say that I would have like watching this. I was like, man, Momoa should have been Lobo.
God, he would have been great Lobo. Yeah, he's wonderful, and I love the fact that he has these tattoos that kind of resemble the Aquaman costuming over the years. I don't know. The whole look was really working for me. And I don't know if he's going to lose a hand, like he does in the Peter David run, but he definitely does. Image-wise, does kind of remind me of that era. What did you think of Wonder Woman in this film?
I liked her in here. her being this voice of reason and how she, works with Cyborg and everyone else, and is like the kind of like the literal leash to Batman.
Yeah.
Because he's pretty much punishing himself throughout this movie.
Yeah. She's kind of the leader in this film, where Batman is sort of like kind of the driver in a way. They're both kind of like pushing this. He's kind of driving for this. He's kind of driving to put them together and face the issue, and she is essentially kind of like commanding, because Batman, anybody who has ever read Justice League stories where Batman's in charge, he is oddly kind of bad, because he is usually a jerk to everybody, and people kind of resist him every time he's been in charge of a Justice League team, or like the whole thing. He's always had trouble because he barks at everybody like they're idiots. Like the 1980s Justice League International had a period like that where he was in charge for like 12 issues or something like that, and he just was like, I can't do this, and handed it over to Martian Manhunter, who's a little bit more kind of thoughtful in his leadership ways. I have to say, I really enjoyed Wonder Woman's arc in this, where it does kind of come full circle, and I suppose maybe setting up her second film, which will, I think, be in the present, with her kind of coming to terms with loss and war, and deciding to be that public face, be that hero in the public, which she had been resisting. And I guess we get the feeling that maybe she's been doing stuff like underground, and kind of in the shadows, and not being too public about it. And I love that. I love the moment where we have that montage at the end, where she sticks around after catching the bad guys, and like, I guess she's gonna sign some autographs or something. I love that little moment. And oh god, we had the moment. I was shocked that we had the Flash Superman race at the end.
That was totally Whedon scene.
That was 100%. I can't see Zack Snyder thinking, "Oh yeah, we need to do this." As far as these DCEU films, that was one moment I thought we'd never see, because it's fun and it's always a fan thing. So I really enjoyed that, actually, and I also oh man, do you want to talk about Superman yet?
With Superman and the whole arc, the mini arc he goes through of coming back from the dead, I wish they did a little more with that.
Yeah.
How much time? Kind of be like, I was nothing and now I'm back. What the hell?
I have to say, I enjoyed the fight with him a lot more than I thought, because we were digging into it, and I was like, oh god, are we going to go here again where Superman's out of control, blah, blah, blah. But it was actually...
By the way, sorry.
Oh, no, by the way, what?
Sorry. I was just going to say that we had, that whole scene in BVS where Flash runs back in time.
Yeah.
With the whole thing of Lois Lane is the key. I just realized that never played in this movie. That never, there was a moment for that.
Yeah, was that supposed to be in this movie, or is that, part of Flash's movie, or, another Justice League movie? I did, think that it was going to have any connection to this film, and it apparently didn't. By the way, if that gets dropped, that makes that scene even more pointless. What I wanted to get back to the fight with Superman is I love how it's a good, strong visual test of his powers in the way we see him combat each member of the Justice League. And I love how when Flash was whenever he'd go into super fast motion and everything else would slow down, and that happened 2 or 3 times in the film. And then when he tries to do that stuff to Superman, his eyes lock on him.
And Flash just has this look of just horror of, oh god, he can see me.
Yes. I really did enjoy that. Oh. Because it's someone else is just as good as, oh crap. And, yeah, I just enjoyed that. And I loved how, I already talked about how Henry Cavill really did seem to enjoy that. And, I mean, the film really does kind of try to kind of reboot, for a lack of a better word, the likability of Superman with the first shot of him talking to kids on, like, you know, somebody's camera phone or something like that, and just being Superman with them, which is something. Man, that movie, like, in the first minute, was able to do it's able to present the likability of Superman, how he deals with people, better than the whole 8-hour BVS film. Because we get montages of him being grimacing while helping people, and, you know, we had choir music and people talking about God. You don't need all that. You need, like, hey, he's talking to a kid and he's like, oh, I don't know, you know, doing stuff, you know. You know, that's what, that really is. I gotta say, yeah, it's great. One, I gotta say, I don't know if I call myself a Zack Snyder apologist, because a lot of people like Zack. But, you know, a lot of people have been slamming on him the last few years. I love Zack Snyder when he's good. Man, he is so awesome when he's on target. And he is frustrating when he isn't, like in Sucker Punch or BVS. But when he's on, he's on. And, of course, I'm a big fan of Whedon's work. So I gotta say, you know, there was a little bit of awkwardness, but that's because Whedon was brought in, you know, at the last minute. I would love to see them work together from the get-go on a project, because I thought they worked together in general pretty well. What did you think?
I would agree with that. But again, I don't know where the rewrites began and where they ended. It's really hard to tell with this film.
Yeah, it is.
So I don't know if I could, like, jump on the bandwagon and say, I'd love to see Whedon and Snyder do something again, you know, together from the project from the get-go. Because I was like, well, hold up, where did corporate step in at some point, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is this thing where, I don't know, I feel like he was trying to make a more optimistic film with this, because one of the things I liked about it was, I already brought this up, like, you know, all hope is lost at the beginning, this film about kind of finding hope again. I feel like that was probably in Zack Snyder's original concept. I at least feel like that.
Yeah.
And what Whedon was able to do was bring more humor and a lot more human character, which I think that's his specialty. And that's why I thought, you know, this shouldn't have worked. You know, because we were literally reshooting, like, up until the last minute. This shouldn't work. And they do work fairly decently.
I would say it's perfect with all the reshoots.
Oh,
but
no,
I will say it came out, it could have been a lot worse, is what I'm saying.
Agreed. I mean, there is some awkwardness and some sharp transitions, but I think overall it worked for me. How much more time we got? We got 3 minutes. We got to wrap it up. All right, last word.
Pretty good. It still had its flaws, but on a whole, I thought it was fine. The other thing is, I'm wondering where they could go with that after-credit scene involving the beginning of the Injustice League.
True. I hope if they do a second Justice League film, I hope that's the thing. It'd be fun to.
I'm still against the whole making Deathstroke the Batman's opposite. I was like, why can't he just be Nightwing or the Teen Titans enemy? You know, why are we forcing him to be a Batman villain when he has more for Dick Grayson? You know, I've always preferred, like, he's Dick Grayson's arch enemy and not Batman's.
Yeah, well, I don't even know if Dick Grayson's even alive in this continuity. So, you know, we'll see. For some reason, Hollywood hates Dick Grayson. I have no idea why. They just hate him. But hopefully, maybe with this new change in tone, you know, maybe there is room for Dick Grayson and Robin or Nightwing or whatever he wants to be. All right, last word for me is I thoroughly enjoyed it. A little bit more than I expected to. It's not, of course, perfect, and there are some, like, awkwardness to it, but it definitely does make me feel a little bit more hopeful for the future. I would give it 4 out of 5 Ram chips. How about you? Do you have a rating?
I would give it 2.5.
Out of?
Yeah, out of 5.
Okay. That would really suck if it was out of 100.
No, yes. Sorry, I was going to say 5, but like my mind like blanked on me.
2.5 out of 100. It was okay. But all right, we're gonna leave it there. And thanks for joining me for the discussion, Deadpoolzilla. I really had fun.
Absolutely, I love this.
All right, we'll be back another time talking about probably Steven Universe or whatever the hell we feel like talking about. Anyway, push the button, Lindsay.
I can't update, nobody likes me.